Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Sandy Golston here, getting started a little bit late here, about 5 minutes late, as I had the computer set up, but then had to make some adjustments. And I think everything is now currently good to go. And hopefully people will have an opportunity to come through. As I should probably remind you guys, hang on a second. Okay, here we go. Let me just put this here. So please remember to hit the bell button for notifications, so you guys will get the scoop on when I go live, which most typically will be on Saturday mornings, 10:30 a.m. Eastern, Sunday mornings, 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Those are typically going to be the times that I am going to be live. So let me get started here. So I am continuing working on my same project, what some people might call a stereotypical summer camp murder story that we saw so many times in the 1980s. But I've always wanted to write one of these stories, so that's why I'm working on that particular project right now, A. And then B, it's kind of a gap project while I continue work on a larger project that I think is going to highlight the year 2021 for me. So I'm really excited to work on the larger project, which is going to be a dystopian 5-book series. And this is the first time I've ever planned out a series, A. B, this is the first time I've really done a dystopian type story, let alone dystopian type series, which would be C, if you will. So I'm excited about that. It's going to be a fun project. I am definitely looking forward to jumping into that. So hopefully everything will go okay. Hopefully the sound is working here. I think the sound was working. So yeah, it was just the speakers. Okay. So everything should be working there. All right. If it wasn't, then it wasn't. But I'm excited to jump into that series. I need to, this week, I'm going to work on, I don't know about finishing the outline, but solidifying the outline so I can get started with that story, especially as I'm wrapping up this story that I'm working on right now, which is at about just a shade under 27,000 words, 26,872 words. Let me put that in the chat here. 26,872 words in this current project I am working on right now. I know that's redundant, but I don't like it on a preposition. So that is what I'm currently working on. I am also developing the outline for my 5-book dystopian series. So those are the two main projects that I'm working on this year from a writing standpoint. So, but then again, I mean, other things are going to come up. Sometimes when I'm working on one project and when I hit what might be writer's block to some people, I just jump into another project. That kind of gives me a fresher perspective. And then I come back to the project that I was originally working on, or whatever project starts to take off. That's the one I work on. It's probably not the best way to do things, but it's kind of been my way of doing things for a long time. So doesn't mean I can't adapt and do things differently at some point, but that's the way I kind of approach things right now to try to avoid writer's block as it affects some people. Sorry about the lack of lay flat collar there. A little older shirt here that I have. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start my first 15-minute writing sprint, and that's typically how I do it here. Let me go ahead and grab. I don't know why I thought I did this. Oh no, I got distracted. Let's see. That's the screen that we want to share. There it is. So let me. All right, I'm gonna put this banner up. I don't know how this is gonna work. If this is gonna work, okay. Yeah, there we go. Productivity sprint. Okay, so that's the way I'll do it from now on. Then I'll just do it that way. You can see my face already here on the screen anyway. So that should be that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with sprint number 1 to get going. And whether you guys, the productivity sprint, you guys are free to write, you're free to read. If you want to chat with me, I'll need breaks now and then during the sprint. And so happy to address your questions or comments as they come in, providing I see it. And I'm not in like a deep writing groove where I might not necessarily answer it right away. But have no fear. Eventually, I will get to it at some point. So yeah, so anyway, writing, reading, editing, cleaning up around the house, cooking, whatever you guys want to do while you're with us here on the sprint, that would be great. And in between sprints, we can chat it up. So that's how we're going to do it. And I'm going to go ahead and get started because I am ready to get going on this particular project. So, all right, here we go. Okay, so let me remove that real quick. So my 216 words defined my productivity writing sprint. So just 216 words, mostly filling in some gaps that I needed to fill in as I was getting started with the first sprint. So let me, first of all, get that thing off of there. So, yeah, I was trying to fill in some gaps. The main group in the story is arriving in the town, and things are very different than what they remember and very different than what they expect when they first arrive in town. And so they're kind of shook. And so I'm trying to not focus as much on quantity of words as much as quality of trying to describe the scene as they are kind of shocked into this new reality as they enter the town. So that's the exciting part that I'm working on right now. So hopefully everybody else is having some productivity, good productivity quality. And if you are writing, that is fantastic. You know, we typically talk about, you know, what projects are you working on? And again, I'm working on I'm in pretty much Act 2, pretty close to Act 2. It's kind of fuzzy right now between Act 1 and Act 2 of my story. And so trying to ratchet it up. Like it's like right there at the crossroads of Act 1 and Act 2. So the story is getting ready it's continuing to really take off to reach that pinnacle. So I'm going to continue working on that aspect as well. And we'll see how it goes. If I stall a little bit, then I might start working on the outline for the dystopian series. So we'll see how that goes today. Let's see. Nazy says, I'm working on a character's monologue and trying to move the story forward. Very slow going. You know, I've hit a slow spot as well. I've changed my story around so much that it's still flowing right now at you know, pushing up on 27,000 words. And yet I've added some characters, and it kind of changes the nature, because now I'm going to have almost too many characters, too many key characters. So I'm going to have to confront that issue here as I move forward. But it is a summer camp, and in slasher type stories, you know, a lot of people are sacrificial lambs to the slaughter. So I understand that, because I feel like I'm headed toward a really slow spot here pretty soon. So I'm hoping that I can head it off at the pass. But it's definitely going to be very, very interesting. As I was scrolling through my outline and some of the characters that I initially foresaw as having a big impact in the story, now all of a sudden I'm questioning how that's going to work. So, man, I'm going to have a lot of work to do here to not have too many characters where the story is just all over the place. So that is the challenge. But thank you, Nazy. Glad to see you with us. Always a pleasure having you here. And you know, it's just great to hear from people that are also writing different kinds of stories, or who are doing poetry, which is a weakness of mine. I've never been able to do poetry, so I admire people who can do poetry. I also admire people who can do script writing. I've always thought, you know, it'd be kind of cool to try to write a script, because scripts just seem kind of interesting. They're very dialogue driven, and my stories are typically pretty dialogue driven. So that's always interested me too. Maybe one of these days I'll try to take a shot at writing a script. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, just keep plugging away at it. And sometimes you got to step away from it and then come back to it. But you know, if you need a break from it, you take that break and just keep going. And You keep reading and writing, which is what I'm doing. I was supposed to film, my reading update video last night and didn't get around to doing it. So I need to do it before my hair fully grows back and looks bad. So I need to film that today too. And then I also have a tag that Margaret, who was on with us yesterday, put me in. So I need to work on my tag video. I came up with the answers for the tag video. It's going to be pretty interesting. It's because of President's Day, it's centered around the presidents of the United States. And it's actually kind of an interesting video. So we'll see how that ends up going. Let's see. As I've moved things, I'm not sure how to get to where I'm going. Just need to get past this monologue. Didn't think it would create such confusion. Confusion for me, not to play. Yeah. And I can understand that because that's kind of what I was alluding to, and you helped me kind of spit it out a little bit better because the story is flowing, but I have these characters that I planned on, and now and since then I've added new character. Well, one new significant character and a secondary fairly significant character. I think will be a fairly significant character, but I also have several other characters. So right now I have getting pretty close to pushing up to 10 core characters that are going to play a significant role in the story. So I don't know if that's getting close to too many or not. Hopefully I can do it in a way that it's not confusing. We'll see if I can pull that off. So, because it might get to a point where it's not confusing to me, but it could be confusing to the reader. So that's it could flip the script pretty quickly. No pun intended. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, just keep plugging away at it, and eventually, hopefully you'll make it make sense. That's kind of my saying is I have to make it make sense somehow, some way, even if I just spit it all out in draft number 1 and then come back and fix it after the fact. So we shall see how that goes, but I'm confident that you're coming through here, and we'll work through it together. So we'll be each other's encouragement to continue to move forward in a productive way. So, all right, let's see. Wait a minute. Hang on a second. Let me get started for sprint number 2. Hang on. So productivity sprint number 2 is coming up. Let me get the screen back set up again. And all right, so right now I'm going to be working mainly on setting the scene where most of the core characters are arriving in town, and now it's very different than what they remember, and the change feels kind of weird. Maybe not quite sinister yet, but it feels weird. But eventually it will feel sinister. So that's going to be the part where, again, the quality of words and how I put it will be way more important than the quantity of words. So you might see my word count for these next couple of sprints be not quite so high as I work on trying to set the scene more than trying to crank out a lot of words. So, but hopefully if things go well here today, if things go well during this broadcast, I'll be pushing up on 30,000 words, but probably not. But hopefully by the end of the day, I'll be at 30,000 words. So we shall see. Once I get through this one part, though, with them coming to town, I think things will start to clear up here a little bit more. So, okay, here we go. Let me go ahead and get this party started with our 15-minute sprint. All right, here we go. Okay, so I got in 267 words during writing sprint number 2, and I am I'm in the process of trying to set this creepy scene as they enter the town. That's not what they expect. That's not what they remember. And so I'm thinking of movies like Children of the Corn, and Halloween 3 as movies where you enter a town and it's kind of like a creepy vibe. So I'm trying to work on creating that right now. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, and it's going actually pretty well. So I just thought of a couple of cool things that I was able to implement that I think raised the creepy factor a notch or two. So hopefully that inspiration will continue to strike, and I'll be able to continue to add to the creepy factor as we move along. But so far, so good. So one of the things I wanted to talk about a little bit with you guys is reading and writing goals for 2021. And I did put in for 55 words as the number of books that I wanted to read in 2021. And I think I remember yesterday. Now I don't remember. I think well, let's just go ahead and look. But I think I was at 8 books read so far in 2021. Nope, it's going to be more than that. It looks like it's going to be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10. Looks like 10. Am I reading that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 12. Actually, I'm sorry. So 12 books read so far in 2021. And so I'm going for 55 books this year. So I'm off to a really good start here through 2 months. Of course, last year I started off well, and then I kind of slowed during, ironically enough, early COVID. I think I slowed a little bit, and then I picked it up. I think probably in the summer, early summer, I picked it up and ended up shattering my 2020 goals, easily beating my 2020 goals. So right now it's at 55. I might end up raising it because it looks like I'm going to easily get to 55. So I may end up raising it, but we'll see how that goes. As far as writing, I'm looking to finish this story. And then, of course, the dystopian series, I want to get into that as well. And the big thing that I want to do I don't even know if it's so much a reading or writing goal as much as it is a publishing goal. So I really want to look at getting published more in 2021, whether that's traditional, self-publishing, or both. Those are going to be points of emphasis for me in 2021. So hope you guys have been working on your goals for 2021. Let's see. Nazy says, I decided to just get the character talking and not worry about it being perfect. So it's a rambling monologue, but I'm closer to figuring it out. And one of the things I was talking about earlier is that sometimes for me, I just write. I'll just write and write and write and write. And then, step away from it, when you get done or you reach a kind of a natural stopping point, just kind of step away from it, kind of clear your head, get a fresh perspective, and then come back and hit it again and see how it feels differently. But I would just get it out. I think your approach, is a pretty good one, just to start writing and just let it flow. And then hopefully when you come back to it at a certain point, it'll make sense to you. Or if it doesn't make sense, it's probably better to have too much and to let it flow while you're feeling it, and then to come back and see if you can adjust it, tweak it, clean it up at another point. So I think you're on the right track with that. So congratulations for I think just letting it flow. I think, again, you can always come back and clean it up later. The last big project that I finished, the book that I'm trying to get published I'm really trying to get published. I just cranked out like 90,000 words in a little over a month. just put my head down and just cranked out that 90,000 words. Then I took a step back from it and went back and I edited. And when I got done with the first edit, it was down to like, I want to say like 81 or 82,000 words. So I trimmed out almost 10,000 words. And so I felt good about that. So I tore it down and tightened it back up. And then I fattened it back up to, I think, like 87,000. But I felt much better at 87,000 than I did at 90,000. And I felt better at 82,000 than I did at the original 90,000. So sometimes it just takes that editing, a couple of times through the editing process to get yourself to the point where you're feeling comfortable with it. I'm often guilty of trying to get it right. Yeah, no, I understand. I mean, that's one of the things that I've probably changed too is I really, and I still do it sometimes too. Like I try to really get it right at the time. And then I try to remind myself to just flow with it. And you can always come back to it. Like sometimes, like if I don't know what word processing program you work in, but if you work in like Microsoft Word, you could probably do this in Google Docs too, or whatever program you work in. You can just make a note like on the side, just a comment. Like on Microsoft Word, you can just leave a comment like, "Hey, this is something that I want to address later," and then it'll just always be there, and you can come back to it. And this is a point that you wanted to address at some point. So that's definitely a way to use that resource. So you can always come back to it. But good thoughts, though. It sounds like you're getting some good momentum going, and I think that's a positive thing. Let's see. Nazy says goal is to complete the current draft of this play. 2 playwriting friends have offered to read it. That's awesome, awesome. Hopefully by the end of this year, it will be ready for public readings and possible submissions. Outstanding. That is outstanding goal right there. And I think it's a good job of just kind of timing it out and then having some beta readers to look it over. I think that's going to be really helpful to get a fresh perspective, especially if it's people that you respect and trust. They can do that for you. I've done that in the past too, and it's really helpful just to get an outsider's perspective. You might take 100% of what they say. You might take 90%. You might take 9%. You might take 0%. But it's good to get some feedback from people that you know and trust. Good. Sounds like you got a really good game plan moving forward. So excellent, 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 excellent. All right. So I am at, let's see, 50, coming up on 55 minutes. So I am probably going to be able to sneak in at least one more, if not 2 more 15-minute writing sprints, because I really want to continue to work on this scene that I have set. I have 2 important scenes that I'm setting right now. One is them getting to the town where the summer camp is, and then the next one is going to be them getting to the summer camp. So I'm just trying to set the scene and just trying to make it like weird, creepy, Twilight Zone kind of weird and creepy, maybe even uncomfortable. So let's see how we can continue to make that work. So, all right, let me go ahead and get the clock back up on the screen. Here we go. And 15 more minutes. Oh, let me change the old banner there. This is number 3. So productivity sprint number 3. And let's get it going. Okay, let me see what I was able to get done here. And this will be the last sprint of the day. And not as productive as I would have hoped for, but it's all good. So I ended up with 247 words during that last sprint. So yeah, I feel pretty good about that. Again, I got a little bit distracted also by something else that I was involved in. So that probably contributed to me not getting quite as much done during that sprint. But let's see. Let's go. Let's see. 247. Hold on. Let me take that thing off of there. So 247. And then 267. So that's what, 514. And so that's 730. So, well, didn't quite get to 1,000, but it's all good. Didn't quite get to 1,000, but you know, it's sometimes you can't always get it the way you'd want it. So, which is fine. Which is fine. So, let me hang on a second. Sorry, there, lost my screen. But you know, that was pretty good. I was pretty solid. I was at a weird spot, and then I got distracted by some things. So that's how that goes. Let's see. Nazy says I made progress. I think I'm almost there. Yes, like to hear that. So good job, good work, and glad we were able to be all productive together and to move this thing forward. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up for this morning. It looks like we're going to be about an hour and 15 minutes of time together. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up and get relaxed. My office chair here is not quite as relaxing as my couch. So maybe I'll start doing the sprints from my couch or something like that. So it'll be a little bit more relaxed. But I write better on the couch, believe it or not. So, all right. Well, that's going to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and close it out. Thanks to everybody that stopped in, even if just for a little bit. Let's see. Yesterday was definitely productive. Great. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. It was a productive day for me as well. So I'm definitely excited about where my story is going, my project is going. I hope you are as well. And you have a good week as well. And hopefully everybody stays safe and stays productive during the week. And we'll catch up next week, Saturday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern, Sunday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern, barring something unforeseen. That will be the plan moving forward. So looking forward to being back with everybody next week. So enjoy your week and stay safe.